The federal government says the plant puts people who live and work near the facility at the highest risk of developing cancer in the country.
Ryan Knockan shows us how a promise to clean up the emissions hasn't panned out in this new Air of Uncertainty report.
This comes to me as some sort of vindication to let the people here know that, no, we're not some weirdos, we're not crazy people. This is real and it is happening.
Bobby Taylor's vindication about the Denka manufacturing plant comes at a cost to him and the other residents of St. John the Baptist Parish.
I lost my mother to a weird cancer, my brother, my other daughters had cancers, my neighbors and friends, and people in this community. If you knocked on these doors, you're only going to find a family that has not been touched by some terrible disease.
Taylor's complained about the emissions coming from Denka for years. The facility makes neoprene, a rubber used to make wetsuits and other similar materials. The byproduct of making neoprene is chloroprene. And according to the EPA's National Air Toxics Assessment Map, chloroprene emissions specifically from Denka put St. John residents at the highest risk of developing cancer in the country. And an EPA investigation of the facility says the plant violated the Clean Air Act 50 times during an inspection last year. The majority of the violations stem from leaking pipes or pipes left uncapped.
The issues that are identified in that report are really concerning as far as the community is concerned, because it talks about the chemical chloroprene released from a large number of sources, and as a result the people in the surrounding community and the schools and the hospitals are being impacted.
Louisiana Environmental Action Network's Wilma Subra wants Denka held accountable for the violations.
The issue becomes, this is a very sick community that's living around the facility, and they are expecting the state and federal agencies to reduce that chloroprene concentration in the air they breathe every single day.
Last year, Denka and the EPA went into agreement to reduce chloroprene emissions by 85%, which would not meet the recommended standard of 0.2 micrograms per cubic meter, but would reduce the emissions to the lowest ever. In December, Louisiana DEQ Secretary Chuck Brown addressed St. John elected officials about Denka reducing emissions.
All that's going to happen within the next 3 to 5 months. We should start seeing numbers at that point, even after the first installation, start trending downward.
However, exposure monitors set up around the parish show a different story. Some recorded levels are lower, but last month, chloroprene levels reached from 4.6 to 17.6. Well above that recommended standard of 0.2 set by the EPA.
The clock's ticking on their watch right now, so we just want clean air, bottom line.
Councilman Larry Saraparu believes Denka has had enough time to reduce emissions.
The plant needs to be shut down until they get everything in place that's needed and come back up. And if you're not releasing chloroprene, that's fine. If chloroprene is getting out, you need to shut it down, bottom line.
Denka nor its lawyers responded to a request for comment about this story. Now, the EPA's inspection also suggests the chloroprene levels workers are exposed to might be hazardous as well. Now, tomorrow night, the group Concerned Citizens of St. John plan to meet at the Chapatulas Church on River Road in Reserve to discuss the EPA's latest findings on Denka.